Hello to our parents and families joining us today, and welcome again to the RAM Fam. My name is Lexie McCarthy, and I serve as the Director of Parent and Family Relations at Westchester University. I've served in this role since the office's inception in 2019 and have worked to improve and enhance the parent and family experience at Westchester ever since. This session is one of a series that we'll be doing throughout the summer to provide insight into the Westchester student experience from WCU experts and members of our RAM Fam Advisory Council, who are parents and family members just like you. Today's session focuses on supporting first-generation students at Westchester. First, I'd like to ask my panelists to introduce themselves. I've also asked them to share their favorite thing about Westchester. We will start with Kim and then move to Dr. Kawamoto, Evelyn, and Amy.
Hello and welcome to Westchester University. My name is Kim Cole. I have an incoming sophomore majoring in music composition and piano performance. We reside in beautiful southern Chester County, Pennsylvania, which is located along the Delaware-Maryland border. What I appreciate about Westchester University is the hometown feel and the value Westchester University places on student academics and safety.
Hello, everyone. My name is Judy Kawamoto. I'm the Assistant Vice President for Student Development at Westchester University. And my favorite thing about Westchester is that it really does have, I feel, a family feel to it. I've worked at several different institutions, and for being as big as the school is, it really does feel more like a small campus. People are really connected to each other and really support each other. And that's what I like best about Westchester.
Hi, my name is Evelyn Anderson, and I am the Student Success Coordinator here at Westchester University. I am actually a three-time graduate of Westchester University, and one of my favorite things about Westchester is that it gives you a city feel in a small town. I'm from Philadelphia, so it wasn't hard for me to go to Westchester because it just gives you that city vibe that I love so much.
Families, my name is Amy Pajewski, and I'm the Student Success Librarian and Assistant Professor for the University Libraries. I've been at Westchester University since fall 2018, and my role mostly consists of working with the first-year writing program, teaching students how to do college-level research, as well as supporting other offices on campus. And to echo others, I think my favorite thing about Westchester is the community. Everyone here is truly really welcoming and cares about supporting each other. The people here are not just my coworkers, but my friends, and we're always trying to find new ways to make the library a better place to support your students.
Thank you all for introducing yourselves. Let's get started with some questions. Dr. Kawamoto, you're up first. Can you explain Westchester's FIRST initiative and the resources WCU provides to students and families?
Sure, thank you. So Westchester's FIRST is our initiative for our first generation college students. And I guess I should first define what we mean by first generation. At Westchester, we define first generation college students as students who have no parent or guardian who's completed a bachelor's degree. And I think it's important to know that at Westchester, in case you're thinking that your student might be the only one that's a first gen student, we literally have thousands of first generation college students, or first gen, it's like as we call them, on our campus. So when we asked our students who, which were first gen, 30% came back as saying that they were first gen students. So that's important to know, that if your student feels like, oh, I'm the only one, thousands of students here at Westchester are first gen. So that's an important thing. And that's something that we celebrate, at Westchester. We are so proud of the fact that we have so many first-gen students who are Westchester's first. And we started this program and this initiative because nationally it's been receiving a lot of attention that first-generation college students, we can't assume that they know everything that there is to know about how to be successful at college. So one of the examples I like to give is that, we have a lot of terminology at colleges that is not, common sense. So if I said to someone, oh, you need to go to the bursar's office, what does that mean? A bursar doesn't exist outside the college or university environment. By the way, a bursar is a place where you go to pay your bills, okay? So, but it's that type of thing that we wanted to make sure that our first-gen students and their family members would know, because we can't assume that they just have that information. It's not common knowledge. So we want to make sure that we give all of our students the information they need to be successful. And to that end, we've developed a website, and you can look at the Westchester's First website at wcupa.edu/WCFirst. And on that website, It has a lot of information and resources for our students. There's a whole section about terminology. So it'd be great, it's like to review that and for your students to review that so they have a better understanding when they first come to campus. We developed a lot of programs and resources that you can find out more about on the website. And we also, as part of orientation this year, we've developed a First Gen Family Resource Guide, which you're going to be able to see on the new student programs website and also as part of the virtual orientation experience. And that also has a lot of good information. It's like for our First Gen family members, and also some stories from some of our very own First Gen students, which I think is a really, really interesting piece that we've included this year. The last thing I want to mention is that as part of Westchester's First, we distribute to our First Gen students in the fall semester a Westchester's First t-shirt that looks like this. This is the front, this is the back. So, and I can tell you that we are so proud to distribute those shirts to our students, and they're so happy to get them. It's a way for them to recognize each other. So when they see that shirt on someone, they know that that student is a First Gen student just like them. It's a way for us to build community. So that's Westchester's First in a nutshell.
Thank you, Dr. Kawamoto, and we'll be excited to share out that guide too to parents and families on our resources. So thank you.
Yeah,
Next, we have Amy and Evelyn. Can you both explain your involvement with Westchester's First Initiative and your experience as first-generation college students and employees? Also, if possible, I'd love for you to share some relevant departmental programs that you offer in your office. So Amy, we'll start with you and then we'll move to Evelyn.
All right, great. Thanks, Lexie. My involvement with Westchester's First Initiative really involves finding ways to support your students academically in and out of the classroom, as well as working with professors on the best ways to support your students. I'm also one of the faculty advisors for Tri Alpha, which is our honor society for First Gen students. So mention that to your students. You know, if they are performing well academically, they could join this group. And just a little bit about my experience as a First Gen college student myself. I did go to another state school within the system. And when I went to college as a First Gen student, I wasn't really aware of any programs like we offer here at Westchester. I really struggled to keep up with my peers because they always seemed to have some understanding of college life and some of those words and terminology that Dr. Kawamoto mentioned. Really just how to navigate relationships with professors and other campus offices was difficult. But now that I'm an employee, I feel really privileged to be able to work with First Gen students and to help them get the head start that I didn't have, and also celebrate their accomplishments. As far as what the university libraries offer, there's a few things I wanted to point out. First, the library offers free or low-cost textbooks. Oftentimes, we do not have every textbook, but we've been working with professors to get their textbooks on hold at the library, so students are able to borrow it for a period of time or to make copies of chapters they need. We also partnered with faculty to get them to use more free online textbooks to help lower the cost for students and families. So not only does this help First Gen families, but also all students on campus. The library also has equipment checkout where your student can borrow laptops, internet hotspots, cameras, and many other kinds of AV equipment that they might need. And if your student is a music student like Kim's student, we offer music production software, so your students won't have to purchase that for their personal devices. And we also have tons of printers on campus, so that's another thing that they won't have to bring. The library is also really happy to set that up for your students to be able to print from anywhere on campus, so they never really have to worry about bringing those printers or that kind of software. The library also offers expert research assistance, including a librarian for every major and minor offered at Westchester. So this means that students can work with a librarian who is knowledgeable in the field that they choose, so whatever major or whatever minor, and we can offer research support that their professors are going to expect from them. And lastly, the only other thing I want to mention is that we provide tons of different kinds of spaces. Depending on how your students study, these could include private study rooms, silent study spaces, and group spaces. So really anything your student might need. And we also offer a 24/5 space where the library is open all night long from Sunday until Thursday. So that's a really great perk for our students.
Over to you, Evelyn.
Okay, so my involvement in the Westchester's First initiative is to really support the team in coming up with programming ideas to support our students that are first generation college students and anything that they may need. I myself was and still probably am a first generation college student. I came to Westchester in 2004 in the ASP program, which was previously called the ADP Academic Development Program and is now called the Academic Success Program. And so what that program did for me was it helped prepare me for what to expect coming into the fall semester as a brand new student, maybe not having all the resources that I needed to be successful. And so one of the things that I strive to do in my position as a student success coordinator is make sure that the students who come to me, whether they're in my department in exploratory studies or across the campus, have the information that they need to be successful. So within our department, which is exploratory studies and university college, which aims to support all students across campus, is to make sure that they have what they need to be successful. Some of those programs that we have on campus include, as I previously stated, the Academic Success Program, which is a program that you cannot elect to be in. It's something that you're chosen to be in. And Exploratory Studies. Exploratory Studies is a department that allow students the time to discover more about themselves, discover more about the majors that are available on campus before making a decision about what major they want to pursue in college. So that's the department in which I work in. We also have the Office for Students with Disabilities that assist students with disabilities finding the resources that they need to be successful. We have proctoring. We have quiet spaces for students to work should they need that. We also work with faculty members in that department to make sure that the students are getting the resources that they need to do well in that course. We also have the Writing Center, which is located right above the Starbucks. In the library. I use the Writing Center a lot when I was a student at Westchester because sometimes we may write a paper and we think it's great, but once you go to a professional who is trained at looking at papers, they may find other things and can make other suggestions for you to make that paper that much better. And then we also have the tutoring lab, which is available in Lawrence on the second floor. I always suggest to students that they tap into tutoring, even though they may think that they don't need it right in that moment. If they find that they sign up for it and then decide that they no longer need it, they could withdraw from the tutoring or drop the tutoring, but it's always a safe bet just to have the tutoring just in case it's needed. And then last but not least, we do have the student success coordinators across all campus departments. And basically the role of the student success coordinator is to make sure that students have what they need when they need it. So if your advisor is not available when you need them, there's always a student success coordinator that can assist in anything that they may need.
Thank you all. Our first generation students are so lucky to have you all as advocates, for sure. Kim, now I have a few questions for you. What conversations do you have with your student about being first gen, and what resources has your student used on campus?
The conversations I've had with my student is to explore all possible campus experiences. There are many living options available. However, living on campus really gives students the opportunity to develop new friendships, ambitions, hobbies, and to discover their role in this world. This also applies to commuters as well. I never had the experience of attending college classes as a young adult, navigating a large campus, or living the dorm life. But we do discuss the benefits that these experiences will have on him as he enters this chapter of his life, as a young adult learning to make decisions on his own and how these decisions can and will impact his future. The resources my student has used on campus in his freshman year primarily included his peers and his professors. The staff and professors at Westchester University have a wealth of knowledge, are understanding and willing to work with students who reach out to them for assistance. My student also utilized the knowledge of his peers to navigate day-to-day life around campus, including joining various on-campus groups which is a great way to meet other students and make new friends. My student was able to pick up and understand all the college terminology a lot quicker than I did. I'm actually still figuring some of it out, but it is more important that he knows where to go and who to reach out to for assistance.
Thanks, Kim. Evelyn, Amy, and Dr. Kawamoto, I have another question for you. How, in your opinion, can parents and families best support their first-generation students? Evelyn, please start, and then we'll move to Amy and then Dr. Kawamoto.
Sure. I think that families could support their students by just maybe just being there. I think just being available for questions, support, and helping them navigate the resources that are available at West Chester University. So encouraging your student to go to tutoring when they need it, to talk to their advisor, to go to different supports on campus to find what they need. And so helping your student, yes, become independent, but then pushing them towards that so that they know that they have your support on the back end, but allowing them to explore and just being there, I think is super important in their journey during the 4 years or 4 or 5 years that they're at West Chester University. That is what I think.
It's a great question, and to echo some of Evelyn's points, I think the single most important thing would be to encourage your student to ask questions, not be afraid to ask for help. There's so many people on this campus, and like I mentioned earlier, really a community here, and we're all in the business of supporting your student. So if they don't know who to ask, we will be sure to point them in the right direction.
Yeah, it is a great question, and I have to confess, I don't really have a single answer. Because really the answer depends on your student, so you know your student best, and you know what it is that they might need. I mentioned earlier, it's like the First Gen Family Resource Guide that's going to be on the new student programs website. And some of the students who participated in that, they had some really good ideas about ways that their family supported them. One of my favorites was when the student said, "My family brought me food when they came to visit." So it could be support like that, if that's what your student needs. I think that one of the themes that we heard in all the students who participated in the resource guide is that their parents and their family members were really helping them celebrate their success, no matter what that success was. So you might not understand exactly, it's like what it means when they, participate in this certain event and they received this certain award, but just celebrate, celebrate with them and congratulate with them. And make sure that they know that you are behind them 100%.
Thank you all for that advice. Again, our families are so lucky to be hearing from you all. The last question is for everyone. What's your final piece of parting advice for incoming first-gen families or students about West Chester? We'll start with Kim, then go to Dr. Kawamoto, Amy, and finish with Evelyn.
So my final piece of advice is basically to let your student take the lead on his or her college experience. As much as many of us want to do things for them to ensure their success, this is their experience to navigate and enjoy. I was always very involved with my students during their high school and middle school years, and at times difficult for me to let go as he entered his college life. I would also strongly suggest that families set up their parent portal account and to encourage their student to check their email daily. Students receive a lot of information through email, including financial aid, housing, and course selection. These all have deadlines, and they're very important deadlines. Reassure your student that if he or she should never hesitate to contact their professor or any West Chester University staff member if they feel overwhelmed with navigating college life. There are many resources to help ease students into this chapter of their life. Students know that we as their families are here for them, but they do need to learn how to solve day-to-day problems without relying on their family. One last piece of advice is to bookmark or print out the West Chester University academic calendar, as well as to write down key West Chester University phone numbers, just in case there is an emergency and you do need to get in touch with someone on campus quickly. There are also many ways in which families can be kept informed of campus happenings. Another thing to do would be also sign up for the emergency email and text alerts. And if you're on social media, be sure to follow the official West Chester University social media sites to be sure you're receiving the most up-to-date and accurate information, such as the West Chester University Parent and Family Relations Facebook page, as well as the West Chester University of PA Facebook page. Again, welcome to Westchester University, and Rams up.
So that's all great advice. I echo everything that Kim had to say. And I guess I would add to that I think it's important for you to be informed, as she said, and also important for you to be involved. So once again, I'll mention the Westchester's First website. That's wcupa.edu/WCFirst, because on there is where we're going to be posting more information about programs and activities and resources for our first-gen students. And as she said, really encourage them to be involved, and for you to be involved as well. Another point that she made that I was going to make as well is that it is important for you to let them have their experience. So yes, we want you to be informed. Yes, we want you to support them and be involved, but let them do their thing. There's a lot of different things that they could be involved with on campus. We have more than 300 student organizations as an example. Let them find their path. Let them figure out what it is that they want to be involved in and learn more about, and support them in whatever it is that they choose.
I think I'm really going to be echoing Kim and Dr. Kawamoto here again with my last piece of advice, which is college is more than just academics. Like, we are all here to support you academically for sure, but encourage your student to reach out early, really get involved on campus, encourage them to talk to their professors. They're really not scary. It seems scary, but it's not scary. Have them join clubs. Encourage them to be active in Westchester's First initiatives. So if you do print out the calendar or go to the website, ask them if they are planning on joining a club, or if they're going to be going to one of the Westchester's First activities or events that we're hosting, and really encourage them to build that support network. Friends are really important to have on campus. And I think as long as they're connecting with other first-gen students, they're able to connect and go through this process of college together. And so just really being an encouraging force is super important.
Thank you all for the advice. I feel like everybody has taken everything I wanted to say. Like I echo everything that Kim, Dr. Kawamoto, and Amy had to say. One thing that I will say that might be different is regarding financial aid. Financial aid can be so scary and so confusing at times. There is a wealth of information on the financial aid website, and there's always a counselor on duty that you can speak to should you have any questions about your financial aid, because sometimes when things are new, they also become very confusing. And also at times when we are confronted with an issue, it's easier to ignore it than to face it. But just know that there's always someone in the financial aid office that is willing to sit down with you to answer questions that you or your families may have. So don't be afraid to ask questions. And like everyone else said, get involved. You don't have to over-involve yourself into different clubs and organizations. Just find maybe one or two organizations that you're very passionate about. And then you'll find that as you do that, you'll meet new people and make new connections and networks for yourself. So don't overdo it. Another piece of advice that I have is to stay as organized as you can. The more you organize yourself and plan ahead, the better off you'll be. So you'll have 5 classes, sometimes 4, and kind of trying to remember everything that you have to do for every single class can be very overwhelming. So just get a planner. We do have planners in exploratory studies that you can grab for free, or if you have a planner of your own that you bought, just try to plan out your week as best as possible. You can do it on a Sunday night to plan for the week ahead. But the key here is just to remember why you came to college, and remember that there is a ton of people on campus that want to help you.
Thank you all. That was incredibly helpful. As we conclude our panel, I want to thank our watchers for watching and thank our panelists for their time, their wisdom, and their insight. Please know that the resources represented here, and there were a lot represented, are just a small sampling of what Westchester University has to offer to serve you and your students. If you have any additional questions or concerns, please feel free to connect with Parent and Family Relations via email at parentfamilyrelations@wcupa.edu. You'll also see the contact information for Parent and Family Relations and the contact information for Westchester's First, including the website on the next slide. We welcome and encourage your engagement, partnership, and Ram pride. Rams up, everyone.